Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, the 23rd of May, 2025. It's after 7 o'clock. Still, as you can see, although sunrise quite grey here in Launceston. And I'm just starting my morning run. Being as how we're moving truly out of daylight saving and coming into the winter month, the sun is coming up much later, and we're in the southern state, so it's even a little later. Anyway, that's what it is, so just off and running. Now, I'm going to talk about Ange Postecoglou again, so if you don't want to hear about that, just turn the volume down and hopefully enjoy the scenery. Now, a quick recap for those who don't know who he is. He's a Greek-born Australian who is the manager of Tottenham Hotspur, or Spurs as they're colloquially known, in a team in the English Premier League football, that is, round ball or soccer competition. Now, a couple of things I should have said in the previous video I made about him that I forgot before I get into today's content. I like to be upfront and disclose anything connection I might have with anything I'm talking about. So, disclosure, I don't know Ange Postecoglou. I've never met him. I have no connection to him or his family, and the only things I know about him are things I've read in newspapers or in some other form of media. I'm not here to promote him or criticise him, just here to say what I have to say about him, tell my version of events, and you can take it or leave it, comment as you wish, but always, if you're commenting, please comment on the content. Now, the second thing I should do is correct a couple of things that I said in the previous video. I said that he had won the A-League 3 times in a row with the Brisbane Roar. And that was not correct either. That was not correct. He did win the A-League with the Brisbane Roar, but I don't think he won it 3 times in a row. I also said that he had won it, the A-League, 3 times with Melbourne Victory, and that wasn't correct either. So I just wanted to, correct those things before making any further comment about him. Now, what has he achieved? Well, he's the first Australian, in fact, the first non-European and non-South American coach to have won a major European trophy with any club, and certainly the first Australian to have done those things with an English club. So that's something of an achievement that cannot be just brushed aside or shrug your shoulders and say, so what? It's an achievement that no other Australian has managed to do. Now, if we look objectively at his performance, there's certainly room for criticism. The first season he was at Tottenham, they finished 5th in the league, which is about where you'd expect they finish. They're consistently in the top half dozen or so teams, but as I said in the previous commentary, our previous video, I haven't won a trophy in 17 years, and I haven't won a European trophy in 41 years. And finishing 5th was considered a pretty good achievement. Now this season, he's finished 17th out of 20 teams. I think I might have said 15th in the last video, but so another correction. And I think their position now is 17th. So, by any measure like that, where did you finish on the table? You've gone backwards and gone backwards significantly. But here's the thing. In European football competitions, they have a first past the post system. What that means is, if you're top of the table at the end of the season, you win. There are no playoffs, no finals, semi-finals, qualifying finals, quarter-finals, any of that nonsense. There is, you're at the top of the table, you win. So the idea is to start as well as you can, get to the top of the table, and do your very best to stay there. That way, and if possible, establish a buffer between yourself and the teams below you. That way, if you have a mid-season slump where you drop a couple of games, you've still got a buffer. You're still in the position that you want to be, which is at the top of the table. Now, if your team's 2, 3, 4, or maybe even 5, you've got to be consistent and win every week and hope that the teams above you lose. I also don't think there's ever been a season where the team has gone through undefeated, hoping that other people will lose rather than you consistently winning is a bit of a forlorn hope. Now, what's this all got to do with Postecoglou, I guess you're wondering? Well, as I said, previous season he finished 5th. early in the season that's just concluded, that's 24-25, he looks at his team, looks at teams above him, who they bought, who he's got on. But at some stage, early on in the season, he realises they can't win the league. Maybe he's lost a couple of home games, didn't expect to lose, or other teams that are serious contenders have performed better than him already. And he's come to the realisation, I can't win the league, so I can continue to throw resources at it and pretend I'm trying to win it. I'm not suggesting he just gave up, but he can say, well, I can work as hard as I can and try and win it, or I'm in this other competition over here in Europe, competition we haven't been in before, and there's a chance we could win this thing, and let's put all our resources into that, in doing our best in that competition, and there's a good chance we could win it. And that seems to me to be a smart bit of coaching and management to say, I can't win the big competitions, 39 games or whatever it is over a season. This one, I'm in a group of 4 teams. I guess that's how it works. I've got to get out of the group by winning that. So anyway, however he explained it to himself and the other coaches and maybe even the players at some stage, I don't know, but wisely he decides, I'm going to try and win this other competition. And he has done so. And as I said, first Australian who has managed a team to do that. First trophy that Spurs have won in 17 years. First European trophy in 41 years. So that's something of an achievement not to be sneezed at. Speculation among the pundits, that is those people who are paid to offer an opinion about everything to do with English football, be they in England or somewhere else, is whether he will keep his job or not. He's quoted as saying he won't walk away from the job. He walked away from the job as Australia's national coach, having qualified for the World Cup on the grounds that no matter what he did, it wouldn't be good enough. And his methods are constantly being questioned, and he has enough of that. He says his job at Tottenham isn't done, and he won't walk away. Whether the board or the people who appointed him decide, you're not the guy to take us forward, you're not the guy we need for next season or whatever. Nobody really knows at this stage. There are always rumours that somebody's being sounded out about a particular job. would seem really mean, for want of a better word, to think, well, you won us the first thing we've won in, as I said, 17 years or 41 years, but you're fired. But there's no room for sentiment in football. It's a business, especially at that level. What he's done in winning this Europa League is bring a whole bunch of money to the club, guarantee them a place in the Champions League next year, or the next season, which will begin in August of this year, and guarantee more money will come into the club. But he finished 17th. So there's a likelihood that the people who have the power to do that sort of thing will say, oh, thanks Ange, thank you for your service, but we're going in a different direction. And he, in his heart of hearts, must know that there is a possibility, and he knows football, and he knows there's no sentiment in it. So, whilst he might not be happy about it, if it happens, you just know, well, that's football, and I'll just find another job and get on with what I do. So, those are my thoughts about Ange Postecoglou. I believe he has become, and still is, despite that success, a whipping boy for the English football press, who don't appreciate some Australian upstart coming into their territory and deciding and achieving success. Whatever happens to him, whether he keeps his job and starts the next season and then he's dispensed with, or after this season's review and before the next season starts, he's told, sorry mate, we're going in a different direction. I wish him well in whatever he does. I don't think anything that can be said or written about him from now on to take away from what he's achieved, and I wish him good luck in whatever it is he's doing from now on. Well, thank you for watching. If you have an opinion about any of the content, please feel free to leave it in the usual spot. When I become aware of your comments, I will respond to them. You will like the content of this or any of the other videos. Feel free to share or subscribe, tell your friends, whatever. Have a good day, whatever you're doing. You're playing sport of any sort on the weekend, enjoy that, and I'll talk to you when I'm making the next running video, whenever that will be.